TinkerCAD tip. Welcome back. I had a follower that asked a question about chamfering edges, so I'm going to take it one step further and show you how to make fancy bevels like what I did on this object, how to create those, and then how to save them so that you can reuse them in other projects. You can see here I have a number of different hole shapes that are different bevels that can be used. For instance, if I take and I break this apart, you can see where this is just a cube with a series of these bevels that as holes that have been added in. Let's group that back together. So what I'm going to do is show you how to make one of these and then how to save them. So where these are saved, if we come up here to your creations, is where these would be saved. You can see I have these different ones where I can bring them out and reuse them. So let me show you how to make one of those. Let's go back over here to our basic shapes. Let's bring out a cube. And this is 20 by 20. Let's bring out this triangle shape. Holding the Shift key, I'm going to rotate it up this direction, and I also want to, let's see, take it in this direction. D to drop it to the work plane. Let's zoom in here. Let's make sure this is also 20 by 20. Holding the Shift key, I'm going to click here, change this to 20. Let's make sure our triangle is a little bit taller than our cube. We'll select them both. Let's do an alignment on those. Center to center. There we go. We can go ahead and bring our triangle down. Oops, let's undo that. All right, let's turn that triangle now into a hole. Now what I want to do is to move it away from this cube a little bit. My snap grid is at 1 millimeter, so I'm going to click the cursor key down twice. That's 2 millimeters, and 2 millimeters this way. I'm going to select the both of those. I'm going to group them together. I'm going to now turn this into a hole. And let's bring this down to say, 5 millimeters is tall enough. So now we have an object here we could use as a bevel. For instance, let's bring out another cube here. And let's resize this to be 40 millimeters cubic. Let's take a duplicate of this. Let's come to the side here, holding the Shift, let's rotate it up. Let's go ahead and holding the Shift key, let's size it down a little bit. There we go. I'm going to Shift select my cube. We're going to do an align. We're going to click on the cube. Let's align it this direction and this direction. There we go. Let's click on our whole object here and let's change this measurement to be 50. Let's slide it down. There we go. Now if we selected both of those and grouped them together, you'd see where I have a fancy bevel on there now, and that could be done on all sides. So now I want to make something that I can reuse here. Let's reuse this, and what I'm going to do is click on your creations, and while I have this selected, I'm going to click on create shape. We get this little pop out here. I'm going to give it a name. We'll call it diagonal bevel. We could give it something more of a description or a tag. It's as a whole. There's also this setting for lock part size, prevent scale, and I don't want to do that to this part because I want to be able to change the scale or the size in other projects. I'm going to click on save shape, and if we see here, now we have a shape that I can simply bring out and reuse in other projects. So, simple way of creating fancy bevels or chamfers that can be reused in other projects under your creations.